Alrighty, let's keep doing this stuff. Okay, so we got this. Now we just need to kind of fill up this stuff with more API junk. Alright, so we finished up loading the image. Okay, and the only way you can test to see if this is work is you kind of just gotta wait for the API to change, right? You gotta wait for this icon to change. And it will, I guarantee you. Okay, so the next part I'm gonna do is the cloud percentage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with the text size. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger again. Well, I guess make it a little bit smaller. It was 17. Why do I have 17 there? Oh, yeah. It's kind of interesting. When you pull in data from the API, is that really... I don't know if that's really showing it. Sometimes when you pull in text from the API, it looks a little bit different than the text that you're just putting out there. So you may need to play around with the data that you pull from the API. You may need to change the size to have it kind of match everything else. I didn't really see a big difference there. Well, anyways, let's keep going. So I'm going to say text, and I'm going to print out clouds at space, and then I'm going to pull the cloud data from the API. So if I look at it, clouds all 90%. So data.clouds.all is what I'm going to need. Okay, and then I want to put a percentage sign after it. Okay, and then I'm going to position it. All right, so clouds at 90%. This is just telling me how cloudy it is. Now I want to have, I don't know, to be honest, I think I could do this better, but this is what I got. I'm going to set up a fill, and the fill is going to be using the RGBA. I'm using that because I want to use the alpha. I want to be able to make this more see-through or less see-through depending on how cloudy it is. So I want it to be 255, red, blue, green, or red, green, blue. And then the alpha value, what I'm going to have it be is whatever data.clouds.all is. All right, so I'm going to close that out, data.clouds.all. Now I got to remember that this is giving me a percentage. So this is supposed to be 90, but it's giving me this 90, and I need this to actually be 0.9 if I want the alpha value to work, because that's how it works. It's between 0 and 1. So I need to divide this by 100. So what that'll do is it will return the 90 to me, but then I'll divide it by 100, making it 0.9, and then that'll give me the 0.9 alpha value to be able to make stuff see through. Okay, and then I'm going to, I think that's it, close it out. So red value, green value, blue value, and then the alpha value is 90 divided by 100, which is going to give me 0.9. Close out. So it's 0.9, so 0.9, this will resolve to 0.9, okay, and then this is still in quotes, the quote ends, and then this is the closing parenthesis for the fill. Okay. All right, so now I've set the fill. Now that I've actually set the fill, I'm going to draw something with that fill. So I'm going to draw an ellipse. Ellipse, that's the width, that's the height, and then the location. Oh, wait, no. This is the location. X coordinate, Y coordinate, and then the width, I'm going to say 100, and the height, I'm going to say 60. And this ellipse is going to be drawn with these fill values. Okay, now because the clouds are at 90%, it's going to Well, I mean, just to make sure that this works, right? I could come in here and say, do I want to? Yeah, I guess I can come in here and I can say, all right, let's do a 0.5. Okay, and we can see that it blacks out a little bit. It starts to be see-through and it gets a little darker. So, you know, it is what it is. I know that it's about at 90%. It's really cloudy, so this is almost totally, completely filled in. All right, so that's what I'm doing with that. Okay, so that's the clouds. And now I'm going to mess with the wind speed. This is another one that was a little nuts. Okay, so I'm going to change the fill back to 255. I want it to be back to 100% white. Okay, I need to throw some text in there, wind speed. Okay, and I need to figure out what the wind speed is. So I go out to the API. Take a look at it. There it is. So it's going to be data.wind.speed. So that's what I want there. Okay, and this is going miles per hour because we're in the imperial stuff. Okay, oh, I didn't, it's like, where the heck is it? I didn't position it. All right, so position, I'm going to put this at 15 to 20. So 15 to 20. So 15 from the left, 220 from the top. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to add a lot more to this actually, because, well, I'll explain it all when I get there. So, well, actually, I'll explain it now. So wind speed is 4.7 miles per hour. There's really, I want to visually show how fast this is, but the problem is, you know, I can't, this isn't, like a screen isn't measured in miles, so a screen would be measured in inches or pixels and such, so I started doing some weird math stuff, so I wanted to convert this to inches per second. Okay, so if I go out there and I say 1, mile per hour to inches per second, okay, I get that it's about 17.6. So if you're going 17.6 inches per second, you're going about 1 mile per hour. So I had to do all kinds of weird math here to get this to kind of do what I wanted here. So I'm going to say or, then I'm going to add a little bit more here. So it's going to be data.wind.speed times 17 point, what was it, 6 or 17.6? Not plus, times. Now, just to make sure this calculates before anything else, I'm going to put this in parentheses. So it'll calculate this first and then print it out. Okay, and then I need that other. Make sure you don't lose that parenthesis here because that matches that one. All right, so that's going to be inches per second. Oh wait, what am I doing? I'm like totally outside of this. I don't know why I put that in there. So, okay. I don't know what the heck I was doing. Okay, so there we go. Plus inches per second. So we can take a look at it. Right? So wind speed 4.7 miles an hour or 82.7 blah, 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 inches per second. Okay, well, there's a way we can cut this down a little bit. So now the API gives us, I think it already gives us the decimal, right? Okay, yeah, that was really weird. I'm like, why does it give me 4.7 when it was 12? Yeah, but it updated. So I don't want all of this. I'm okay with 2 decimal places. So what you can do is you can take this and attach to it another method, and it's called toFixed. And I want it to go 2 decimal places or 1. You can put whatever you want there. And that'll take that decimal number that you get and it'll put 2 decimal spots. And I'm good. That's what I want there. All right, so I've converted it to 82. So this is going 82 inches per second. It's still pretty quick, so I still have to do a little bit more conversions. And again, this is my app. This is what I decided to do. You may end up doing something a little different. Okay, so now I'm going to lower the text size to 14 because what I'm going to say next, I want to have space. Throw some text in there again, and I'm going to say demo speed scaled down by 16. Okay, and then I'm going to throw in some more stuff. Data.wind.speed times 17.7. That's going to make it, or 17.6. That's going to give me inches per second. And then I'm going to divide that by 16. And then the answer that I get, I'm going to round by 2. Okay, and then I'm going to add on to that inches per second. And then I will position it. Going to want to space there. And inches per second, I want to space there too. So all this is saying is like, okay, the wind speed is 4.7 miles per hour, which is actually 82.72 inches per second. So this demo that I'm going to have going across the screen here, I got to scale that down by 16 so we can actually see it move. Because if I went 4.7 miles an hour and I had an image on here moving that fast, it'd be off the screen so fast you wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm going to have this, I'm going to scale it down by 16. So I had to convert to 82 inches per second. So it's moving 82 inches per second, and that still, go away, CC cleaner, whatever. 82 inches per second, that's way too fast. I mean, that's like many, many computer screens in 1 second. So I had to scale that down by 16. So I divided that by 16, which gave me 1.39. Right? Hold on. 82, just making sure, divided by 16. No. Wait, did I do that wrong? Divide by 16. Hold on. Yeah, that seemed a little low. So 82.72 divided by 16. Yeah, why are we getting that? Oh, because I'm doing plus, not times. Times that, then divide by 16. Okay, that should give us the right number now. Oh, math, how we love thee. All right, there we go. That's right, 5.17. Okay, so this is actually moving 5. If we scale it down by 16, which is kind of weird, I get it, but this is how I had to do it to get some sort of representation of how fast the wind's going. So 5.7 inches per second. All right, so now we can actually start making something move that fast. And I think we're going to do that in the draw, which we are. All right. So I'm going to set up a variable called WS wind speed image, basically. And I'm going to load the image inside of it. So icons, and the image that I'm using is right here. So windspeed.png. Okay, so that's inside a WS image. Okay, and now I'm going to set up another variable called wind speed, just WS, and I'm going to calculate the wind speed. So I'm going to say data dot wind dot speed times that by 17.6, right? Yep, 0.6. And I'm going to divide that by 16. So this will give us the wind speed in inches per second, lowered by a scale of 16. Okay, and then I'm going to set up another variable called wind location, and I'm going to set that to 0 because that's going to be the variable that I'm going to use to move it. Okay, now loaded the image, but I'm not displaying it. I now have my wind speed. Okay, and then I have the location of the image, and so I'm going to put this all in draw, because draw is that one where it runs the function over and over again, so we can get animation. All right, so I'm going to do this in here. So I'm going to put the image on the page. That's what the image function here. The image that I'm going to put on the page is WS image, because I loaded it up here. Okay, the x-axis location is going to be W location. So right now it's 0, because I set it equal to 0 right here. Okay, I'm going to have it be 250 from the top. And then the size of the image is just going to be its original size. Okay, so if I save that, we got the image right there. But I'm guessing it looks so dang ugly because, yeah, I just have a bad image. I think that image has, yeah, it does. It has these lines going through it. So one day I may get another one. But there it is. Okay, and this is actually being ran many times per second. It's just keeps redrawing it and keeps it in the same spot. So we did this last week. It's going to be similar. So I'm going to say if the location, okay, is less than width. Width is a built-in command that P5 just understands, and it knows that the width is 600 because that's what we did with the canvas. So if the location, which is 0 right now, is less than width, I'm going to run what's inside of here. So I'm going to say the W location is going to be plus equal to the wind speed. Okay, remember the wind speed is inches per second divided by 16 because I brought it down by a factor of 16 there. Brought it down 16 times. So it's basically this number, 5.17. Okay. So it's going to move. Yeah, still this is, I'd have to set the frame rate to 1 frame per second to really get this to be accurate now that I'm thinking about it. Oh well, it's what it is. Because I'm factoring it down, well, actually, it's still, well, you can see it already kind of worked. It's moving 5.17 inches per second. Yeah, it still would probably need to go a little bit faster than that. Oh well, but I don't really know what the frame rate is on this. So, and to be honest, I really don't know how many times this is running per second. But, besides pounding out all the messed up crap with this, the main point and the main thing that I'm trying to do there is get this to move according to what the speed is. So as the speed gets higher, this is going to be moving quicker. So this is kind of a demo. It's not meant to be scientifically perfect, but it is meant to show visually kind of how fast things are going. Okay. So, take it for what it's worth. Okay, now the one thing I want it to do though is I want it to kind of repeat. So it's kind of cool to watch that, but I want to get an idea of if I missed it maybe the first time, I want to see it over and over again. So I'm going to create another if statement in here, and I'm going to say if the location is greater than width, which is 600, then I'm going to set the location to be 0. So the minute the location is above 600, it starts back at 0, and then it goes again. So it's greater than 0 or greater than 600, gets set back to 0, it goes again. It's greater than 600 or the width, and then it comes back. So now we can kind of get this repeating image that's showing us the wind speed. Okay. All right, so that's it for the wind speed. Now, I also pay attention, that a lot of the variables that I'm using here, wlock and wsimage, I had to put up here in setup. Because I think I may be wrong. Well, if I put them in here, they get done over and over again. I don't think it works. But then again, maybe it would. I don't know. Can't hurt to try. Yeah, it just kind of breaks. This seems to work, but the drawing of the picture doesn't. So, because I don't think you can kind of load an image and display it unless you do it the way I did it up here. It's just weird. It's just weird P5 stuff, the way P5 works. So I'm just going to undo that. Okay, and it's working again. All right, so there's the wind speed. Little, I know, hokey math. It's kind of weird, but it does what it does, right? And oh man, I almost went outside to setup again. Don't want to do that. Okay. So now we're going to do last updated. This is fun stuff too. So it tells me when it was last updated, and that's this DT. It's this Unix weird funky looking timestamp. So I had to do a bunch of research to figure out how to convert this into actual time, and I'll show you the equation here that you have to do. So I'm going to make the text size 15. You have to do the date object. So I'm going to set up a new variable. I'm going to set it equal to new date. This is the date object. And I'm going to set it equal to data.dt, which is grabbing it from the API. So data.dt, which gives me this funky number. Now to convert this and to make it so the JavaScript object can use this Unix timestamp, we have to times it by 1,000. And that's going to put it in milliseconds. So I guess, I don't know. You guys may be smarter than me on this one, but I think this may have something to do with seconds. This timestamp, like certain seconds from a certain amount of time, I don't know. So timesing it by 1,000 puts it into milliseconds, which then allows this date object in JavaScript to be able to use it. That's really all I know about it. All right, so we're going to set up an hours variable, and it's going to use that date object, and I'm going to say get hours. So timesing this by 1,000 is allowing this date object to do whatever it needs to do so we can actually pull out the hours out from this abomination here. Okay. We're going to do the same thing with minutes. Okay, we're going to put a 0 there, and then we're going to add on to that date.getMinutes. Okay, now the reason we have a 0 here is because if it's only 1 minute, we want it to say the hour and then colon 01. Or, 6, like 6:01, right, is going to say 6:01. Or 7:09, or whatever. So we have that 0 here. Now what we're going to do though is check to see if it's greater than 10, we're basically going to cut that off with substrings and things like that. So now I'm going to set up a new variable called updated time, and this is going to basically hold the correct time. So Oh, by the way, I don't know if I ever really said it, but we're going to have like last updated down here, and it's going to show the time when it was last updated. And we want it to be a readable time. We don't want it to print out this number. That's going to look really weird. So that's what we're doing now, is we're making it so it's a readable time. So there's this really cool shorthand way that you can have an if statement inside of a variable. It's basically the same as saying if, 2 is less than 3, x is equal to 2. Now this wouldn't work. We'd get all kinds of weird errors. But there's a shorthand way to where we can run this and we can have an if statement. And so we know 2 is less than 3, so x is 2. So it would end up being that updated time is 2. There's a way we can do that with this shorthand way to write if statements, which I learned and thought it was pretty awesome. So the way we do that is we go hours. So you put in the condition first. So if hours are greater than 12, so this is the if statement here. This is the condition. So if hours is greater than 12, and this is telling it it's an if statement, we're going to say hours are minus 12. And this is, we're checking for military time basically. So if hours are 13, 14, 15, and so forth, we're going to subtract 12 from it, so it'll put it back to normal time. Okay, and then we're going to add to that the string colon, right? Because we separate the hours with the minutes. Okay, and then we're going to add the minute stuff. So minutes dot substring minus 2 plus PM, okay, or. So this is the first thing we do if this is true. And what we're going to do if this is false is going to be after this colon. So if hours is greater than 12, we're going to subtract 12 from hours. So if it's 14, it'll now be 2. If it was 13, it'll now be 1. We'll add a colon to that. And then we're going to take minutes and a substring -2. All right, so if we go back to substring here, I just had to double check this. We talked about it, but the thing is, if the start here, the start parameter, the first one, is negative, it starts from the end of the string. So because we have a -2 here, it's going to grab the minute string, going to start from the end, and it's going to display the last 2. So over here, right, this used to be 2. So it started 2 in, or 3 in, 0, 1, 2. So it's going to give us low world, right? Well, actually, maybe it doesn't. Well, 0, 1, 2. It starts with the last one. So it starts there. Okay, and now if I go in here and I say -2, it should give me the last 2 characters. Okay, which it does. Exclamation and D. So that's what that -2 is doing. It's taking the minute string and it's giving us the last 2 characters of it, which will give us the minute values. Okay. So yeah, if it's greater than 12, it subtracts 12 from it, it separates the hours and minutes with the colon, grabs whatever's stored inside of minutes, and grabs the last 2 values from the end, which is going to give us the minutes here, and then it's going to say PM because it's greater than 12, right? Now, if it doesn't do that, this is the other thing it should do. It's going to be similar. We're just going to do hours plus that, right? Plus minutes substring -2 plus, this is going to be AM. Okay, fun, right? All of that just to convert the wretched API that it gives us into readable time. Okay, so now that we have a variable that holds the correct time, now we're going to show that out to the page. So text, last updated, space, we're going to add updated time to it. And we will position that 20 from the left and 380 from the top. This is going to go kind of down at the bottom. There we go, 316. I've been told this updates about every half hour. Right now it's 4:08, so maybe sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I don't know. But at least we know when it was last updated. Sweet. Okay, so I like that because, you know, these APIs, you're not really sure how old the data is, and it's good to kind of show this so you can get an idea. I wanted that to be a little bit smaller though. Well, I guess 15 is okay. Okay, so that's the last updated. Now sunset and sunrise are going to be really similar. They're going to use the same equation, but it's just going to be a little bit different here. So I'm going to go sunset next. Okay, and I'm going to do basically the same thing here. So I'm going to grab all of this and just copy it. But these do need to be different variables because they're pulling different data. So I'm going to say, since this is sunset, I'm going to say set date. Okay, and I'll call this set hours, and we're going to be grabbing it from set date, set minutes to set date. Set updated time is going to be set hours, set hours, set minutes, set hours, set minutes. I hope you got that shorthand for the if statement. It's really cool, really helpful. So remember, this is the condition. Okay, this starts, you know, this is where the true and false values start. So this is the condition, this ends the condition here. This is what happens if it's true. Okay, and then that's separated by the colon, and this is what happens if it's false. And you can set that all equal to a variable so you can grab that. I like it. It's pretty powerful. All right, so now that I have that set up, yeah, all I need to do is load the image now. So I'm going to load the image, actually, because I know this is getting kind of long. I'm going to load this the exact same way I did it here. So this is how I can load the image and display the image all in one. All right, so the image I'm going to display is just right here. I got my sunset and I have my sunrise. So I already pulled those, so those are what I'm going to do. So I don't need any fancy concatenation here. I am just going to load the image sunset.png. Okay, and then function is going to be passing the value of sunset. So it's going to pass this path inside of sunset. So I'm going to load the image sunset. Okay, and I want it to be at 400 from the left, 300 from the top, 350 from the top. And I want the size to be, I had to mess with the sizes a little bit, 60/40. Okay, so there's the image. Okay, and that's for sunset. And then I need the text to show up, and, oh, not in there. Now I'm going to have the text show up to display what time it happens. So text sunset is going to happen at, we have it stored here on set updated time. So set updated time. Yeah, and we're going to put that at 470, 380. Okay, there we go. That doesn't seem right. Oh, it's not. For some reason, it's still pulling it. Hold on. Oh, I didn't change where it's pulling it from. So we're not pulling it from data.dt anymore, right? We are pulling it from data.sys dot sunset or sunrise. So this one's sunset. So data.sys dot sunset. There we go. All right. So sunset is at 6:14 p.m. Happy days. All right. Sunrise is going to be exactly the same, except for we got to change some stuff. So sunrise, I'm just going to grab all of this and just, manipulate it the way I need to. So I'm going to call this rise date and have everything be rise. So rise date, okay, this is going to be sunrise. Pull it from the right place this time. I'm just going to copy rise and just paste over here. So it's going to be rise hours, rise date, rise minutes, rise date, rise updated time, this is so fun, guys. So the image is going to be sunrise.png, and so the function is going to be sunrise. Sunrise. Then sunrise. Rise updated time. Holy Hannah. All right, and then we put this at 200. Nope, so looking at the wrong one. 270, 380. Got it? Okay, and then the image is going to be at 200 from the left and 355 from the top. And the images were a little different, so 5535 instead of 6040. That made them look a little bit more like the same. Okay, and there we go. And then I could start positioning this as needed, but the sunrise, I liked the green. It made it more like morning, sunset. I don't know, it's actually kind of hard to find icons for sunrise and sunset. But the sun will rise at 7:15 a.m. The sun will set at 6:14 p.m. Last updated was 3:16, so wow, it's been about an hour, which is interesting. Usually updates more often than that. But that's it, people. This is my app. That's what I did. Okay, and this should work. Now, what's interesting, though, just so you're aware, I tried to run this locally. I double-clicked, and things just weren't working. And I did F12, right, and it's giving me all this origin stuff, which I thought was weird because I am loading it with JSON-P. Or am I? No, I am freaking not. But then I think I was doing it my other one, and it was still giving me issues. So let's try that. So JSON-P. I have no idea if that'll fix it. It probably won't, but we will see. Yeah, still gives the weird issues with images, like it can't access the images for some weird reason. But that's okay, because if you use brackets and use the live preview gets ran on like a weird local like Adobe server, so I can still test it and everything. But also once you upload it, which I'm going to do right now. So let me go into public HTML here somewhere. So much crap on there now. And I'm going to grab the weather folder. Maybe. And I'll upload it. Wait a couple of years here. It should work fine online. So thoseonekids.com/weather, weather.html. Okay, there we go. And it works fine. I hit F12. It gives me issues about crap inside of P5 min, which I really have no control over. So device orientation, device motion, that's all stuff that P5 uses if you're on a device. We didn't use any of that, so we're okay. But it all works fine. So happy days, and of course this is what I would turn in. So you'll have 2 weeks to do this. Just all I did with this when I was creating this is I'm like, it'd be really cool if it did this. It'd be really cool if I did this. As I was making it, I started thinking of ideas, wasn't sure how to do them, and figured them out. Like this PM crap, like getting that to convert. This whole thing here that now I still realize really isn't that accurate. This, I mean, I was like, it'd be really cool to do this, but the main things that you need is you got to have 10 pieces of data that you're pulling from the API. I think I have 11, or something like that. And then you got to have something get drawn according to the value. Oh, there it went. It updated at 3:58, which was about a half hour ago, 20 minutes ago. But anyways, you got to have something kind of be drawn depending on a value, and then you got to have some sort of animation. And I'm not going to dock you if it's accurate or not. I can't be a hypocrite and expect something to be totally accurate when mine really isn't. So anyways, guys, hope this was full of instruction, helpful. Hope you learned something. I mean, I know I learned a bunch. So good luck. Use the weather API, use something else. But, just really quick, remember, use some sort of API, at least 10 things. One of those things needs to be drawn out on the page according to the data that is given. One of those needs to be animated, and you should have a working app that you can post somewhere and show people, hey, this is awesome, and it updates automatically. All right. Good luck. Any questions, let me know. We'll talk to you later.